Hi friends, welcome back again. For those of you who don't already know me or haven't already subscribed, which I highly suggest that you do, my name's Amy and I have an array of weird and wonderful pets. So reptiles, I also keep snails and different inverts. So if that's something that interests you, then definitely consider subscribing. So what I do here is I do how to care for guides and also enclosure builds and just show you my pets. And so yeah, come along and join the family, click that subscribe button and turn your notifications on to all so that you'll have a notification then whenever I post up a new video and you're not going to miss anything then. I also have an Instagram as well, so you can go ahead and check out over there. I'm a lot more active over there, and I also have TikTok too. I'll link all these down below. As mentioned before in my other videos, I also have started making my own merch, so yeah, any proceeds of that is helping me with my YouTube and helping me upgrade all my equipment and everything, so go and check that out as well if you like. I'm wearing one of my dinosaur whisperer tops right now, so I'm going to stop my rambling as usual and let's just cut straight into the video. So today we're going to be talking about how I do my stackable Isopod enclosures. I've got two here. I've started breeding some different types of woodlice, so if you hear me call them granny greys, don't be alarmed, they are woodlice. It's just in Wales, or I think it's a Welsh thing, I'm not sure, but we were always brought up with them being called granny greys, and that's just the way I know them now. So you can also call them like pill bugs, or there's lots of different variations. Roly-polies, that's the one I think in America, and slaters in Scotland I believe. Yeah, there's a few different variations, but we're just going to be talking about woodlice today, but you can also apply this to other inverts. Now I know stackable enclosures are more of an interest to us in the invert hobby, because if you're in the invert hobby or if you're just thinking about going into it, we are an absolutely crazy bunch. And what I mean by that is it's a very addictive hobby. Now obviously you don't want to be verging into animal hoarding or anything, but no, when you tend to keep something like small inverts, then you're going to want something where you can stack them. So having individual enclosures is lovely if you just want a couple, but like for me now, I want to breed some of these isopods and see how I get on with my colonies with them, and I want to slowly like sell some and then upgrade to more tropical fancy woodlice. A very strange thing possibly for some people watching this to think, why is she into woodlice? But I don't know, there's something about them from my childhood and everything. Like, I absolutely love granny greys, and my daughter's the same as well. Like, from a very, very small age, her first pet was actually a little granny grey, and his name was Hot Dog Sal and Dee Dee. I don't know why, but she kept him in a little matchbox, and she's been absolutely obsessed with any woodlice she sees it now. So to see all the different like variations and everything, and then you've got your pill bugs and stuff, I don't know, something about them that I absolutely love. So in order for me to be able to keep as many as I like, I want something that's stackable and able to fit into a small space. So what I'm going to be showing you today is the method that I use for keeping them in a small space and also keeping them stackable and habitable for your animals that's going to be living in there. So isopods, guys, what are we thinking? Would you like some more videos on them? I'm not sure. I need that feedback from you, so just leave a comment down below. Yeah, so what sorts of videos would you like pertaining to them? Obviously today I'm going to be showing you how I set up my colonies and everything, but yeah, just let me know for some video ideas and I will get right to it. So what are user enclosures then? Basically because of how cheap they are and how easily they are to move around when cleaning and everything, is really useful boxes. So as you can see, I've got these two here. These are my two isopod colonies at the moment, and I can always just go ahead and buy some more and stack them. Now obviously if you're going to be stacking animals, you need to make sure that there's enough ventilation in there for the animals, and if you're using top ventilation, then obviously you're going to be blocking a lot of that if you're going to be stacking the enclosures. So this is what I do with mine. Now I prefer the 9-litre ones. You can also go bigger as well if you want to start up like a larger colony or something, but these ones seem to be quite good. These are also lockable, which I find much better when housing the inverts, especially when you have like crazy toddlers and everything roaming around the house. You don't want to end up with a bunch of isopods running around your bedroom or anything. So yeah, lockable ones are a must for me. Air can still get through the sides on these, so they're not completely airtight. However, I have got pancake slugs that can squeeze through these little gaps, so they're not completely foolproof. So also, like I just mentioned then, when we're stacking these enclosures, obviously with ventilation, if you're having top ventilation, there's going to be a lot of trouble when you're stacking these enclosures in getting adequate ventilation into your enclosure. So what I do is I place the ventilation holes on the sides of the enclosure. And what I do just to add this ventilation is to use one of these like cone-shaped drill pieces and drill into the sides of these until I've got the desired width that I want. If I do have a species that I want to keep relatively high humidity levels or whatever, then I'll just drill less holes, but 2 seem to be enough. Now for my snails, I do drill into the top of the enclosures because obviously I'm not going to be stacking them, so it is pointless adding a top one if you are going to be stacking these. Next, I've got some organza material, and I absolutely swear by this as an invert keeper. I use this on my mantids too, so what I do is I cut the organza to the right size, and this also helps then with fruit flies not being able to get in or even get out of the enclosure. I hot glue this onto the inside of these enclosures. However, on the snails ones, I do it on the outside just because where you've got them sliming about and everything, sometimes it can come off. But with the little invert enclosures on the inside, it's just fine. So yeah, I just glue these on and try and do it as neatly as possible, but obviously that doesn't always happen when you're dealing with hot glue. That's pretty much the bulk of your enclosure done. See, nice and easy. It's not exactly hard when you're keeping inverts, you know, you can do things really simply and extremely cheap. Now the next part of your enclosure build is going to be your substrate. Now depending on the species and everything, you're going to have to do individual research for this, but for these ones, what I do is I use a substrate composed of organic topsoil and I mix it in with leaf litter, sphagnum moss, and sometimes a bit of rotting hardwood. Obviously, when you're doing like multiple enclosure builds and everything, you're going to want to invest in getting like a big bag of topsoil or something, because buying branded stuff isn't really going to be feasible in the long run. And you all know I'm all up for scrounging and picking up a bargain. So yeah, coconut fibre blocks are also fab and a cheap, easy option to use, but just make sure you're mixing that with a bit of topsoil and other different types of material suitable to that particular species. Sometimes that might be a sand based, like a play sand, or it could even be some kind of clay based material. So once I've finished sorted out all the substrate, so I do that around about 2 inches deep, I'll start adding stuff like cork bark into there. Now cork bark is brilliant for hiding places for your isopods and everything, helping them feel safe away from predators, and cork bark also helps with humidity levels and retaining moisture. Also then I'll just add like a couple of live plants such as like a Photonia or spider plants, as well as some botanicals that I use from Forest Floor Decor. So I definitely consider going and checking them out because they've got an absolutely amazing little collection of botanicals that you can use in multiple different enclosures, bioactive enclosures, but also in like blackwater aquariums. They're absolutely fantastic. They've got lots of stuff there. I usually have leaf litter in all of my enclosures, but I didn't actually have any at the time that I was filming this, and this was the only chance that I had this week to film. So for now, no leaf litter, sorry, but yeah, they will be getting that as soon as I have that arrive. But I did add some of this Komodo branded moss. Now this comes in like a dry, dehydrated block, and you can just add water into it and it'll expand until it's rehydrated, and then you can just squeeze out any of the excess water, and voila, done. Then I just add my isopods in and let them explore their new home. Obviously then, if you want multiple enclosures, just do the same process for all those enclosures. If they are different species, just make sure, guys, you are looking up species specific care. So humidity levels, temperature, just make sure that you are looking up all that before you actually go ahead and make these enclosures. Because like I said, the number of holes and everything in there, the sort of decor and the sort of substrate, just make sure you are directing that towards your specific species. Some might need heat mats and everything. A lot of my animals now, like my isopods especially, don't actually have heaters or anything, because I've got a heater in my room and it's just easier to heat up the whole place rather than individual enclosures. Not only that, it's a lot cheaper as well, because obviously you're buying the heat mats, you're running the heat mats, and you're buying thermostats. Couple up a heat mat or any heat source to a thermostat. So yeah, I just find that a much cheaper option with especially my inverts, you know, heat the room rather than heating individual enclosures. Unless you've got a really finicky species or something, then you might need like overhead heating or something like that. Okay guys, so that's me done. So then you can just obviously stack them on top of each other like I have. Find a nice little spot. I've got literally a tiny little space by the side of my cupboard over there, and I've just got them all stacked up in a row, and it's perfectly fine. They're doing great, they're breeding and everything. So that is literally all you need to do for stackable isopod enclosures. Okay, so if you enjoyed this video, drop it a like, leave a comment down below, and like I said, any other suggestions for videos that you would like, even on just like granny greys, wood lice, wherever, just let me know and I'll get onto it straight away. As I said as well, just head on over to my Instagram, and that way then you can even contact me there if you've got any questions. So don't forget to subscribe and become part of this lovely little community I'm trying to create, and I will see you all soon. Bye.